Sometimes betrayal doesn't come crashing in like a storm. It doesn't scream or leave visible damage. Instead, it creeps in softly, smiling across the dinner table, wearing familiar perfume, asking about your day while dismantling your world piece by piece. I didn't know I was living inside that kind of silence until the night my wife, Alina, looked me in the eye and calmly told me she was leaving. Not just leaving, but leaving me for someone else. There was no fight, no shouting, just her voice, flat and controlled, like she'd been rehearsing it in her head for weeks. What she didn't realize was that I had already begun to suspect, and I'd been making quiet plans of my own, plans she never saw coming. That evening had been unremarkable. Work had dragged on. An endless string of meetings, numbers, and polite corporate smiles. I was exhausted. On the way home, I stopped at the Thai place she liked and picked up her usual red curry, jasmine rice. I thought maybe it would lift her mood. Maybe we could find our way back to each other, even if just for one meal. When I pulled into the driveway, her car was already there. That surprised me. She'd been working late a lot lately, or so she said. The moment I stepped through the front door, I felt it. Something was wrong. Not just quiet, empty, hollow. The kind of silence that has weight to it. I called out to her, and she answered from the dining room. She stood by the window in a green dress I hadn't seen before. Her hair was done, makeup flawless. It felt out of place, too elegant for a regular night at home. Then I saw it. A suitcase resting at the base of the stairs. My chest tightened. Still, I said nothing. She turned to face me, fingers nervously playing with her bracelet. Her eyes met mine briefly before flicking away. "We need to talk," she said. I set the takeout on the table and nodded. "Okay." We didn't sit. We just stood there like strangers in our own house. She exhaled slowly, steadying herself. "I've been seeing someone," she said. "And I'm leaving." No apology. No hesitation. Just facts laid out like a transaction. "He's younger," she added after a beat. "His name is Josh. He's 26. He gets me. He sees me." It was like watching a glass shatter behind soundproof glass. There was no noise, but everything inside me cracked. "How long?" I asked, voice even. She blinked. Her hesitation said more than her answer. "Almost a year. A year. A year of ordinary mornings, kisses goodbye, shared dinners, holiday plans. All while she was quietly building a separate life, one I never had a place in." I nodded slowly. "All right." She looked confused. "That's it. I hope he's what you're looking for," I said simply. Her expression faltered, like she'd been bracing for rage, for heartbreak, for me to fight. I gave her none of it. "You're not angry?" I shook my head. "If this is what you want, go." I walked to the front door, opened it, and stepped aside. She hesitated. The lines in her script were gone. But eventually, she walked past me, dragging the suitcase with her. No slammed door. No final plea. Just her fading perfume and the sound of her heels on the hardwood. That night, I didn't drown myself in alcohol or call anyone for advice. I sat alone in the quiet, watching the ceiling, letting the memories play like silent films. Our wedding day, her laugh on vacations, her asleep on the couch with her head on my chest. I didn't feel shattered. I felt free. In the days that followed, I packed away her things, folded the clothes, emptied the drawers, wiped her reflection off the mirror. Not out of spite, just so I could breathe without inhaling what she left behind. But something deeper had shifted. It wasn't just the marriage I was done with, it was the life wrapped around it. The job, the house, the routines that no longer felt like mine. So I walked away. I handed in my resignation, sold the house, emptied my savings. No grand announcement. I just vanished. I found myself 3 hours down the coast, in a quiet town where no one knew my name. I rented a worn cottage from a woman named Marjorie, who ran a cluttered used bookstore down the street. She needed help fixing shelves and wiring lights. I offered my hands and she offered peace. I spent my days in sawdust and silence. No meetings. No spreadsheets. Just physical work, ocean air, and a chance to rebuild, this time for me. Each morning, I ran along the cliffs. Each night, I slept without thinking of her. I started to remember who I was before I spent every day holding together something that was already broken. 10 months passed. One evening, I took a photo beside a bookshelf I'd built. The sea in the background. No caption. Just a moment captured. Hours later, her name appeared on my screen. "You look amazing. Where are you? Can we talk?" I didn't answer. A week later, I made a mistake. Josh wasn't what I thought. I lost the only person who ever really saw me. Still, I stayed quiet. Finally, "I'm so sorry. I wish I could go back." But I wasn't standing still anymore. There was nothing to go back to. A year after she left, I returned to the city for a friend's engagement party. I wore a suit that fit better than anything I'd owned before. Not just tailored to my body, but to the man I had become. She was there. Alone. She saw me and froze. Stepped forward slowly. "Hi," she whispered. "You look." "I know," I said, smiling lightly. "I didn't think you'd come." "I almost didn't," I said. "But I'm glad I did." She hesitated. "I'm sorry. For everything." I nodded. We both made our choices. Mine led somewhere better. Her voice cracked. "You never responded to my messages." "I didn't need to." She searched my face, looking for something familiar. But the man she left wasn't there anymore. "You've changed." That was the point. And I turned and walked away. She thought the ending was when she closed that door behind her. But for me, that was the beginning. The first real step toward a life I chose. One that was mine alone. And it's better in every way.